Okay guys, welcome back. Today what we're going to be doing is graduating some of these 5/5 frame nucs into the 8 frames. Kind of be doing a generalized inspection and equalizing the hives if there's any that are a little bit stronger than some of the weaker ones. We're going to equalize those so we don't get any swarms. A few of these hives I'm going to be moving up to my grandma's farm here in a couple weeks for some honey production. So just getting that ready for that process. Kind of see behind me here, we're going to be doing a lot of these 5-frame nucs today. Got about 36 colonies I need to be doing today with the equipment that I've got painted here in the back of the truck. Kind of see there, got all that stuff painted, ready to go. So we'll take you along for the journey there and kind of see what we got. And hopefully the hives are looking good. Weather's been pretty good lately. Got some rain here the last couple days, but the bees have been out. So let's go check them out. Alright guys, so what we're going to be doing is moving this 5-frame 5/5 nuc into my regular 8-frame equipment. Let's see, last week I pulled a few frames out for splits and make up some new nucs and queen castles and such, but this week ready to move them into the larger full-size equipment. So this will give me an opportunity to go through the hives, make sure there's no swarm cells, kind of equalize everything, and get them ready for honey production. So I got these nice painted orange ones here. I did them last weekend, kind of getting ready. Had some decent weather for all that, and finally got some good weather today. Yesterday was really windy, super windy, but today the weather's nice, so it's a good day to do this. Like I mentioned, this will give me an opportunity to look through all these hives. I haven't really gone through a lot of them since my initial spring evaluation, but this will be a good opportunity to check things out, make sure the queens are laying, no swarm cells. This is an outside frame here. It's laid up pretty well on that side. Little light on stores on the outside there. A few false queen cups. Got eggs in there, so the queen's in there, she's doing her thing. Laying out in the center again here, all this is cap brood and she's laid in the center, so we've got stuff that's hatched out there in the middle again. Kind of more false queen cups. I usually just like getting rid of them just because I don't like keeping them around. in case they get the wild idea they want to swarm, but this hive doesn't look like it wants to right now. They're just there. Nice full frame of brood right here. So this hive's doing good. I don't usually do deep dives once I do my initial spring inspection. At that point, I'm just making sure that we've got a laying queen and that sort of thing. I check the top frames for swarm cells, but rarely do I go down deep. Just because it breaks up the frames, the bees kind of have the hive organized the way they like, and I don't need to get in there and kind of destroy it. So hopefully you can see her. She's right here. So queen is alive and well. Good. And then some of my dead outs, you know, I've got some drone comb I'll give them, and then I'll give them some fresh comb as well. And as I mentioned, these are 8 frame boxes. I kind of went to 8 frames here, 3 or 4 years ago, simply just due to the weight. It's not that I can't pick up 10 framers, it's just I know at some point I'm going to be an old man and didn't want to have a bunch of 10 frame equipment that I wouldn't be able to lift and pick up with ease. So I was just kind of planning ahead with that sort of stuff. You know, 10 frame is your normal equipment that most people have. Kind of like the 8s. Kind of get used to them. Bees seem to do well in the 8s. They survive just fine. I really haven't seen any difference between the 8s and the 10s that I do have. Just going to clean up this frame here real quick. So this colony here, they'll be looking good. You know, obviously they're in the build-up stage now with the spring flow starting. Kind of get them going. They've got plenty of room in here before they're going to need to build up even further and add a honey super. So we're going to be in good shape on this colony. I'm not concerned at all about this one swarming. One of my nukes, one of my swarm traps yesterday, looked like it had some scout bees coming in. So we could potentially have a swarm moving in today, which would be nice. I don't know if it'd be my own bees or barrel bees, but either way, we'll get them captured. Hopefully today, going through these hives, I can make sure we don't have any other swarms that are potential. So the one thing I do have here on these short pallets, gonna have a little bit of room, but I'm not gonna move hives around right now. So I'll just set them here. One will be kind of skewed a little bit, but it should be fine. And they'll get moved next weekend when I take them north. Hopefully everyone's bee year is going well. You know, this is my first full spring down in Missouri. It's been a little bit of learning experience like everywhere else. Trying to get used to, you know, what nature is providing. Here's a nice little frame of pollen. Mixed frame of larvae and some cat brood there. Looking nice. A lot of eggs in there. Nice frame of eggs. So overall, these, you know, a couple colonies here, they're looking pretty good. Haven't really seen anything to concern me. You know, in regards to swarm cells and things like that. So, you know, I mentioned I did pull a few frames out last weekend. They haven't really even started coming up in this top yet. So, just to try to prevent some of the swarm behavior. I didn't expect to see much of anything today, but you never know. Spring's funny. You get some oddball weather, and they get in the mood. I do have a few frames left of your traditional 5.4 millimeter regular comb. You know, 98% of my apiary is a small frame. I've just kept these around just from nucs that I bought when I originally started beekeeping, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. Using some of them in swarm traps, and then I usually put them on the outside so that the bees will use those to store their pollen and things like that. So we don't get too many eggs in those, but we do get a few on occasion. Right now we got a little confusion going on because I moved some hives around. They'll get it squared away here in a second. So this is what I'm going to be doing most of the day today, is just kind of moving a lot of these bees around. If I see anything interesting, we'll play again, but otherwise, stay tuned. Thanks. Okay guys, welcome back. While we were doing our little inspections and transfers and stuff, we ended up finding a queen that was walking around on top of a hive. Now the hive that she was walking around on and the ones next to it, they all had queens in it. So I'm not really for sure where this one came from. Try to get it focused there. She does not look like a virgin queen for sure. So really not sure why she's out there. But I do have a hive that is queenless. So I'm going to try to introduce her into that hive, and we'll see what happens here. So pause for the cause, and I'll get her in a queen cage. Okay guys, we're back. got them all done right now. Got 32 hives put into bigger ones. I just painted these with just the blue and the green, just to kind of help differentiate hives as the bees come in. It's been a little bit of chaos today with moving them out of the nucs and everything, but they're settling in here. That end there was first. Like I mentioned earlier, we did find a queen that was just sitting on top of a hive. I moved her into a queenless one, and also when we were doing this, we had a swarm move in to my empty nucs over there while we were doing that. So caught a swarm, which is kind of nice, and ended up putting it down here. But as you can see, all the hives are nice bright pumpkin orange. Everyone's got a home. This little nuc right here is the one that we had the swarm in. I just moved it in the place of a really weak hive. It didn't have a queen, so whatever foragers were out, they'll move into that swarm as well, and we'll be good to go. And that's all for today, folks. A little bit pooped, so I'll end the video here. Hope you're having a good bee day. Subscribe and hit the like button. We'll see you in the next video.